Hi, this video is here to help you if you're struggling to choose between living in a house or living in halls.
Hi there, I'm Rachel, I'm a postgrad student, and after my first year at university I decided to live in halls. I felt a lot more comfortable having the 24-hour security, having surveillance with it being semi on campus. There's always 24-hour maintenance help. Now living in halls, there's 12 of us in our flat. I found that we've developed such a big bond considering none of us knew who each other were beforehand. There's the physical handiness of having someone constantly at reception to pick up any parcels in case you're out. There's obviously also the physical perks, so with it being closer to campus the majority of the time, most halls are more openly available for students.
Hey, I'm Nicole and I'm a residential warden at the University of Lincoln that currently lives in the new St Mark's student village. I chose to live in halls as it gives me the opportunity to meet other students in a safe and secure environment. Whilst living in student accommodation, you're able to make use of the residential warden service. If any help is required, the residential warden team is available 6 till 12 every night. We also hold events such as board games nights and city tours, which you can find out more information about at the UOLRW Instagram page. Living in St Mark's also means I'm only 5 minutes away from being on campus or being in the city centre, which is so beneficial. If you're stuck between where to live, then please do not stress. I'll suggest looking into all your options and going with what's best for you.
Hi, I'm Emma and I live in halls. I currently live in the Pavilions Halls, which is actually a private accommodation. It's not uni halls, but it's still halls. I live with 6 people and we all have ensuite rooms, which are kind of perfect if you need a toilet and you're lazy. Living in halls, you live right next door to all your friends. You just have a long hallway with loads of rooms, so you can just walk out your room and knock on the door, and then the kitchen's right there, so it's really easy to get to each other. And then you also may live in a block, and a block has just got loads of flats in, so if you make friends with people in your block, you live so close to each other, maybe just the elevator away, so close. When you live in halls, paying for rent, you can pay weekly, monthly or all at once, and they're not too strict on it. They're very understanding if you can, if you need to wait for your student loans, because obviously they've done it a lot of times. Just very understanding about it. Usually in the halls accommodations there are common rooms. These common rooms may have an Xbox, a pool table, all kind of social activities to go and do with your friends or just to meet people in there. This is good if you're feeling claustrophobic or feeling a bit stressed with your work, or a little social time. I'm currently in my first year and I'm considering staying in halls for my second year too. It is a very easy process to stay in halls for your second year, as you can leave your stuff over the summer in your room.
Hi, I'm Ayan, a master's student here in the University of Lincoln. I prefer to stay a house where very few people stay. In my housing, there are only 5 people, and other thing is COVID situation. Risk of getting the virus or getting affected is a bit low. Like the higher number of people you are living with, the higher risk you are in. Living in a private accommodation where you find diverse aged people, so you can interact with them, you can exchange life experience, and you get benefited.
Hi, I'm Owen, and after first year, as you can probably tell, I decided to live in a house. So personally, I feel a lot more comfortable living in a house because it feels more like a home. One of the things that I like about living in a house is that I have more space than I had when I was in halls. Letting agents tend to be more lenient when it comes to personalising your room, so if you want to have fairy lights hung up, you can, but always make sure that you check with your letting agent before applying any fixings to the walls. I'm only 5 minutes away from campus, 5 to 10 minute walk into town, so I'm still just as close to these things, but in addition to that, I'm closer to West Common, so if you want to get away from university and have these great walks that are a little bit closer, maybe a house might be a good option for you. If you're hoping to live in a house once you graduate, living in a house whilst you're at university might be a great way of getting accustomed to living independently, and I think it's helped me grow as a person, and it's helped me realise a lot of what you take for granted at home. One of the things that I found when I was living on campus in first year is that I found it really difficult to disconnect university and free time because I was on university campus the whole time. So living in a house this year has been really beneficial for me because I'm able to separate work and free time more. Parking can be really hard to come by at halls. So if you're thinking about commuting to and from university and home in a car, maybe living in a house might be the better option for you. You can get a permit really easily from Lincoln City Council. It doesn't cost too much money and it might work out cheaper for buying train tickets. If you're looking for somewhere to live in Lincoln next year, you might be a bit stuck. But there's absolutely no need to worry. There'll be plenty of houses still available right up to the start of the academic year. If you are struggling to find people to live with next year, you can ask your course mates, you can ask your friends or people that you currently live with now. But if you are still looking, there might be some houses or rooms available that will be advertised on Facebook in some of the University of Lincoln student groups. So there is no need to worry at all. There'll always be somewhere for you in Lincoln.
I'm Adele Wilkinson and I chose to live in a house after first year because I found it was sort of my own space and my friend's own space to sort of chill out, and we had it kind of to ourselves. So another nice thing about living in a house is that you get your own communal area. We don't have to worry about any other people coming in. This sort of is for us only, and that's really nice. We can socialise in here together, and it just makes it feel more homely, like we don't have to worry about anyone else coming in. It just looks more like a home. And also I would say that just to make sure if you are living in a house when you go into your next year, just make sure that they have maintenance and things like that, and a maintenance company that communicates with the landlord. We have a maintenance company that communicates with our landlord and us, so we can report issues and then it gets sorted. So just make sure that you have things like that. Another thing about living in a house is that it teaches you a lot about how the real world works in terms of rent and that kind of thing, and it teaches you how to communicate effectively with landlords and all of that. Make sure to take a look round the accommodation so you know what you're getting from them. Go on the housing tours, speak to the landlords.
If you're not looking to stay in university-owned accommodation, make sure the housing you choose is of a good quality and is owned by a trusted landlord. We recommend you make sure it's part of an accreditation scheme. The accreditation schemes within Lincoln are the National Residential Landlords Association, the Lincoln Students' Union Accreditation Scheme, Decent and Safe Home Landlords Accreditation Scheme, Private Rented Sector Accreditation Scheme, as well as the Trusted Landlords Scheme. To find accredited student housing, we recommend you go to the Lincoln Students' Union website, which is lincolnstudentlettings.co.uk. This website only shows properties that are part of the Lincoln Students' Union Accreditation Scheme. This specific scheme is designed so that it raises the standard of accommodation in Lincoln and ensures the best experience for students by promoting good, clean, safe housing by trusted landlords and lettings agencies.
Now, if you're in need for some help when it comes to deciding where to live, I would recommend just talking to someone, going to the advice centre, and they can talk you through some options of whether you want to stay in university run accommodation, privately owned run accommodation, or whether you want to live in a house. Also, check out online, there's loads of information you can find, and we also have some articles on our blog that might help make up your mind.
If you're torn between house and halls, I would recommend making a pros and cons list, and whichever has the most amount of positives and the least amount of negatives will be the one that you go with. But if you're really struggling to make a decision, the university has a great advice centre and they'll be more than happy to help you make a decision and find out what works best for you.
Thank you for watching the video. Follow us on all our social medias if you need any more tips about uni. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Owen and I live in a house. I live in a house. As you can probably tell, I chose to live in a house. I'm Owen and I live in a house.